This is a movie about how not to survive a zombie apocalypse. Whatever your expectations are, it may not be low enough. Greetings, investigators. My name is Detective Sins, and welcome to another installment of Synopsins. Today we're covering a horror comedy movie from 2004 titled Shaun of the Dead. Watch out for spoilers, and let's get into the video. Shaun, Elizabeth or Liz, Ed, David and Diane are all regular visitors to London's famed pub, the Winchester. Liz encourages Shaun to do something about their relationship since she is sick of getting asked to go to the same place every single time. Shaun finally promises to take Liz to a nice place and to introduce her to Shaun's mother. So far, the plot of this story is as unclear as my mirror after a hot shower. Shaun wakes up and walks into the living room to play with Ed, but Ed tells him that he needs to go to work. Pete complains about Ed's behavior, which has been bothering them since they graduated from college. Before heading to the bus stop, Shaun drops by his favorite convenience store. The newspaper catches Shaun's attention. Nelson, the owner of the convenience store, startled Shaun before he could even finish reading. On the way to his office, he sees a woman passing out at the bus stop. So, I don't know whether I'm impatient or this movie is really dragging out this introduction to its absolute limit. While at work, Shaun's stepdad, Philip, arrives to remind Shaun of his bi-monthly visit to his mom, Barbara. After Philip leaves his office, Shaun receives a call from Liz asking about the location where they will be visiting that evening. Shaun assures her that he has planned everything for their evening. Of course, that's the equivalent of telling my mom, I'll do the dishes later. The odds of that happening are lower than getting a jackpot in Vegas. After work, Shaun decides to buy flowers for his mother. Shaun notices a man eating a pigeon through the flower shop window, but the bus blocks his view. Alright, that's it. Where the fuck is the story? Get to it, please. Shaun gets off the bus early on his way home due to one of the drivers dying in his car and causing a traffic jam. Shaun then bumps into his old friend, Yvonne, who lives in the area. Yvonne asks about Shaun and Liz's relationship, as well as the special place Shaun has prepared for Liz.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
When Shaun gets home, he immediately contacts a restaurant. Unfortunately, the restaurant has reached its capacity. Ed notices Shaun's frustration and suggests that he should take Liz to the Winchester. Despite the fact that he already knows Liz hates that place, he still suggests the Winchester to Liz, and I think we both know how that will play out. Shaun goes to Liz's flat to apologize with the flowers he brought, naively thinking that will fix whatever mess that's already in shambles. David and Diane believes that now is not the best moment to visit Liz. Shaun then climbs the window to their room, desperate. Liz expresses her exhaustion at Ed's constant interruptions of their relationship. Liz then makes the decision to end her relationship with Shaun. Shaun is heartbroken when he gets to the Winchester. He saw two couples making out outside the pub, which irritates him even more. He throws away the flowers he brought. Ed then tries to cheer Shaun up, even though Ed is partly to blame. Ed eventually succeeds in making Shaun laugh again. They return home drunk and singing. We then see the girl severing her partner's head. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Ed and Shaun blast music so loudly at home that Pete tosses Shaun's record away. After that, he verbally attacks Ed and tells Shaun to get his life together. Ed notices Pete's bandaged hand and redirects the conversation. Pete claims to have been bitten by a crackhead. When Shaun wakes up from his sleep, he goes to the convenience store. Throughout his walk, Shaun is unaware that some people have turned into zombies and that some healthy humans are attempting to run from these zombies. Shaun is also unaware of the blood-stained glass in the convenience shop and that Nelson has transformed into a zombie. Damn! If anyone ever asks me how I deal with my life going to shit, I'll show them this scene right here. A fucking mess. Shaun changes the channels, catching up on the latest news and events. He is unaware that the lines create a complete news piece every time he changes the channel. Ed informs Shaun that a woman is in their garden. They believe that the woman is too drunk. Ed grabs the camera and captures what in actuality is a zombie attacking Shaun. Shaun pushes the zombie away from him, making herself stabbed in the stomach with a metal stump. Wait, so I don't get it. Is Ed oblivious to everything? Is he equally obvious to the entire situation? Like, how and more importantly, why is Shaun unable to comprehend the current situation? You know what, let's carry on for now. The zombie effortlessly rises from the metal stump and chases them. Another huge zombie appears, but they manage to get inside practically unscathed. Shaun attempts to call 911, but is unable to do so due to a network outage. Duh. Through an unlocked front door, a zombie enters their home. Ed kills the zombie with his ashtray, and not long after, they realize that they have to decapitate the zombie in one way or another to truly kill it. Ed and Shaun start throwing a basket full of their belongings at the zombie before realizing that it's much easier to swing a stick around. They then smash the zombie's head as if they were Shohei Ohtani trying to score their third home run of the night. The two of them rested on the sofa while coming up with a plan. Shaun calls Barbara asking if she's okay. Barbara replies that she is fine, only Philip got bitten by a zombie. Shaun felt that he had to save his mother. Oh wait, so Shaun realizes that they're zombies now. Alright, cool. After several drafts, they finally decided to carry out their last option. Borrow Pete's car to go to Barbara's house to kill Philip, then go to Liz's flat, take them to the pub, and wait until the apocalypse is over. You see, all of that was perfect up until that last part. When Shaun goes to the bathroom, he notices Pete has turned into a zombie. Shaun and Ed rush to their car, avoiding Pete's chase. They arrive at Barbara's place to fetch them both. Realistically, the plan is very difficult to carry out. Philip was already bitten by a zombie, his mother refuses to travel anywhere without him, and Ed wrecked Pete's car, forcing them to use Philip's car. All in all, you'd have a better chance blindly scoring a three-pointer from the middle of the court. Barbara and Philip agrees to follow Shaun's request after a brief debate. Philip gets bitten by a zombie again just as they get into the car, and Shaun tries to kill the zombie. They arrive at Liz's flat after finishing the first plan. Through the window, Shaun enters Liz's flat. Shaun advises Liz to leave their flat as soon as it becomes unsafe. David tried to persuade Liz not to agree with Shaun, but Liz has other ideas. Diane agrees to join Shaun as well. David gives in and follows Liz and Diane. Shaun rushes out of Liz's flat and straight into the car after urging them to bring their own weapons. Philip realizes he will die, so he tells Shaun that he loves him. In an upset state, Shaun urges Ed to pull over and informs Barbara that Philip has died. When Shaun notices that Philip has turned into a zombie, he panics and orders everyone out of the car. You know, for someone so absent-minded throughout the entire first half of the movie, I'm surprised by this development. They eventually decide to take shortcuts to the Winchester. They met Yvonne's group and exchange a hug before parting ways after a brief chat. There are two groups of idiots here. The first group is Yvonne's group for not sticking together. The second group is Shaun's group for following Shaun instead of Yvonne. The inexcusable logic to hide at a pub when the zombie apocalypse is happening might be the last decision they'll ever make. And for that, this decision is a certified sin. They begin to make their way through the garden at the back, only meters away from the Winchester. Shaun notices that his mother is missing from the group. He swiftly jumps back into the previous garden where he fends off another zombie. Shaun then impales the zombie against a tree, immobilizing but not killing it. Diane believes that if they act like zombies, the zombies won't be able to notice them. However, when they arrive at the pub's front door and are unable to unlock it, the zombies become suspicious. This pub, Shaun claims, has a back door, but David becomes enraged and destroyed the window with a garbage can. To save them all, Shaun guides the zombie to a safe location where the others can enter the pub safely. They're worried because Shaun hasn't returned in 20 minutes. David loses control and begins to act as if he was the one who saved them all, unlike Ed. Liz calms him down and offers him a drink. Shaun returns to the pub through the back door not long after. "What's the plan?" Liz asks, thinking Shaun has a wonderful strategy for the next move. She becomes upset once more when Shaun responds that they must wait at the pub. Bitch, you could have asked him before he dragged your ass all the way to the pub. As night falls, they become bored and decide to turn on the television to see what's going on. Shaun goes into the back room to turn on the main generator because there is no electricity in the pub. When he turns on the lights, he is startled to find that the zombies have followed him down and are massing at the back door. Everyone agrees to keep quiet as Shaun reveals that the zombies have followed him back. However, Ed, being Ed, ruins the situation once more by activating a loud video slot machine. Zombies are now surrounding the pub's front and back exits. When the power is turned on, the jukebox starts playing Queen's Don't Stop Me Now. Shaun, Ed, and Liz each take a pool cue and strike the zombie to the beat of the music, as you do in a life or death situation, of course. Shaun instructs Liz to take his mother away as he begins shooting at the zombies, but he consistently misses, like how he missed Liz. In another corner, Liz notices that Barbara has already been bitten. Barbara expresses her gratitude for the flowers before collapsing in Shaun's arms. David points the rifle at Barbara, insisting that something must be done before she turns into a zombie. Shaun bursts in anger, threatening him with a shattered bottle around his neck if he doesn't stop pointing at her. Diane protests, so Ed hands her the broken bottle to aim at Shaun and aims a corkscrew at David as Barbara rises as a zombie. Shaun gets the gun, apologizes to his mother, and then shoots her. Shaun becomes enraged and punches David in the face when David compliments him that he did the right thing. David attempts to shoot Shaun, but the gun is out of shells. He then makes the decision to leave. Diane scolds him and he apologizes to Shaun. When he tries to leave, zombies slam the window and drag David through, killing him totally. In an insane attempt to save David, Diane opens the front door and assaults the zombies. Pete is among the zombies who broke into the pub. Pete and the others attack Ed and bite him, but Shaun saves him by shooting Pete in the head. Shaun and Liz then jumps over the bar and hide behind it, splattering it in alcohol and burning it. Ed, who is badly injured, gets over the bar and joins them. The leftover gunpowder touched the flames and the pub was decorated with fireworks. With only 2 shells left, the 3 survivors make their way down to the cellar. Because the building is now on fire, they are stuck in the cellar. Shaun ponders over the remaining 2 shells for Liz and himself. "I don't mind getting eaten," Ed reassures them. They exchange one last pack of cigarettes, only to see the lift's power switch as they light the fire. Shaun tries to persuade Ed to leave with him, but Ed realizes he's already screwed after being bitten and decides to stay. Liz and Shaun say their goodbyes to Ed and leave the building, a last noble action for someone so dim-witted. As they escape from the cellar, luck appears. The army arrives and begins firing at the zombies. It turns out that they saved Yvonne and the group. See? Fucking idiots went with Shaun instead! According to her, the army is evacuating any survivors. Shaun and Liz follow them while holding hands. The film ends with various TV shows claiming that captive zombies are now being employed in everyday life for menial tasks and entertainment. The healthy one and the zombies now coexist as shown by Shaun and Ed playing video games together. For what it's worth, it is meant to be a comedy show. However, I feel like there was just one too many dumb decisions being made. Like, seriously, these people really think that hiding in a pub will work. Go find a shelter, one that's possibly above ground. Like, damn, that was frustrating to watch. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like this video, go ahead and click that like button down below. Subscribe if you want to see more content just like this, and ring that bell to get notified whenever we post a new video. Investigators, you are dismissed.